Chapter 4 of Where the Heart Lies. Sonic's still antsy about the situation at dinner when he wakes up the next morning. He throws the crisp blankets off of the huge ornate bed, swinging his legs over the side and staring blearily around the room. Everything is so pretentious and expensive, and Sonic gets the feeling, stronger than ever, that he doesn't belong here. Rubbing the sleep from his eyes, he stands up from his bed with a creak, padding over to pry open the wardrobe. He gets dressed, finds a little satchel in the bottom of the wardrobe, and starts filling it with things he might need for his journey. He picks up Caliburn, then, walking out onto his balcony that overlooks the gardens, he watches the people strolling in the morning sun on the grass outside, the birds darting around the trees, as he absent-mindedly polishes Caliburn's blade. The warmth soothes his nerves. It really was gorgeous here. That'll be something he'll miss. A knock at the bedroom door startles him, causing Sonic to turn and lean on the balcony railing. He waits a short moment, then another knock comes. "Yeah?" Sonic calls, reluctant to move out of the sun. "Good morning, Your Majesty. It is Nimue and Galahad," she calls, muffled by the door. "You want to come in?" Sonic asks. There's a small moment of pause before the doors creak open and the hedgehogs enter, peering around the room for him before they spot him on the balcony. "Mornin'," Sonic sings, beckoning them over with a finger. "Lovely day, isn't it?" "Indeed, sire," Galahad returns, dipping onto a knee before him. Nimue moves over to the railing, leaning over it so far Sonic thinks she might fall. She breathes in the fresh air, a soft smile dawning on her face. "You don't seem like the type of people to come see me just to hang out. Nice as that would be. You got something to say to me?" Sonic asks. "Nothing much, sire, except to ask if you are well. I could tell last night's events were stressful for you, and we both wish to know if you felt any better this fine morning," Nimue offers. Sonic smiles at her compassion. Maybe these guys aren't that different from Amy and Silver after all. "Oh yeah, I'm fine," Sonic brushes it off. "So maybe I got a bit of a short fuse. Nothing a good bit of sunshine can't fix. Speaking of, I'm gonna go for a wander. You wanna come with?" While I appreciate the offer, sire, we both have much to attend to this morning," Galahad replies. "All right, suit yourselves. Would you mind taking that bag there and put in some fruit and bread or something in it for me if you're passing the kitchen?" "Of course." Nimue glances to where the bag lies on a table near the wardrobe, and she drapes over her shoulder as the two hedgehogs begin to leave. Sonic watches them go. "Oh!" he calls suddenly. They both turn to him. "And, thanks, for checking on me. Appreciate it," Sonic says a little awkwardly. Both of his friends smile at him in return. Their smiles then turn into looks of surprised horror as Sonic vaults over the balcony railing, 3 floors up and down to the gardens below, kicking up grass as he takes off. Nimue and Galahad rush back over to the railing, peering down at where he'd landed, and then turn to each other in bewilderment. Sonic had wandered around the grounds aimlessly for a while. On his journey, as he looked up to the sky, he saw a figure standing over the side of what Sonic previously thought was a roof, but now he seemed to be some sort of large outdoor area on the upper floors. Loath to think that he hadn't explored every inch of the castle, he makes his way back inside, climbs the steps 2 at a time, up several floors. He finds himself in the guards' quarters, consisting of simple doors lining a narrow corridor leading to what Sonic assumed were the bedrooms. At the end of the corridor, a double door leading outside had been left open, casting light on the otherwise dim hall. When Sonic squeezes in through the gap in the door, keeping to the wall, he discovers that the huge balcony serves as a training area. Dummies, targets, and all kinds of weaponry are lined up against the walls, with various scratches and marks littered across their surface. He's surprised to find that it's fairly quiet. There's only 2 people here, keeping to themselves at opposite ends of the floor. One of them Sonic doesn't recognize, and they're shooting arrows into painted targets with practiced ease. The other, practicing her swordplay alone, is Percival. She swipes, making complex movements with both her sword and her feet. With elegant steps and graceful spins, her fighting style is more akin to watching a captivating ballet dance. Sonic stays against the wall, admiring her skill. She leaps, twirls, slices the air with speed and precision. Then she stills, bringing her sword close to her chest as she breathes out with steely focus. Her gentle movements radiate calm, yet fearsome power. Sonic whistles in appreciation. Percival's ear twitches. Her head snaps to the source of the sound, and Sonic swiftly finds the tip of the sword pointing at his face. "Easy, Tiger," Sonic laughs, lowering the point with his finger. Your Majesty!" Percival flusters, drawing back her sword. "How long have you been standing there?" "Long enough to know that you've got some serious skill," Sonic replies. "Not that I didn't know that. We've fought before, but I like a challenge." "Thank you, sire?" Percival blinks at him. "So what do you say?" Sonic draws Caliburn from the sheath of his hip, taking a sudden yet precise swing at Percival. Despite her guard being lowered, the knight counters the attack with lightning-fast reflexes, their swords clashing in the air between them. Percival twists her arm in a way that levers Sonic away from her, and he stumbles back a few steps. Upon regaining his balance, he stretches out his weapon once more. "Wanna dance?" He grins, eyes shining with adrenaline. He wipes at his nose confidently with his free hand, in that funny thing he does under his nose. "As you wish, sire," Percival returns calmly, though the competitive spark in her causes a smile to shine through. "Though I shall not go easy on you." "Wouldn't want it any other way." Sonic bounces on his heels, hyping himself up. He launches himself at Percival with enthusiasm and a jab of his sword. Percival twirls to the side, avoiding the blow. Using the force of her spin, she slashes her weapon downwards. Sonic catches her sword with his on the way down, raises his arm, levering Percival's upwards as well. They come to an impasse in this position, swords locked. Now in such a vulnerable position, Sonic swiftly moves his sword to jab at her again. Percival, predicting this, leaps backward, backflipping in the air and landing perfectly on her feet. "So," Sonic begins, making conversation in the middle of their fight, "why'd you decide to become a knight anyway?" "Well," Percival swings at him from the right. Sonic leaps up onto her sword, using it as leverage to kick her backwards. "I do not originally hail from Camelot. No, I was in fact a princess in the neighboring kingdom." "Oh yeah?" Sonic smiles with familiarity. Percival knocks him off his feet, but he's quick to recover with a breakdance-style move. "So why'd you leave?" For a moment, Percival loses focus and her eyes flick to the ground, something like guilt flashing across her face. But then Sonic jumps at her with a downward slice. She parries the strike over her head, and she's back in the game. "It was attacked," she admits, "ravaged by an enemy force, and burnt to the ground. There was little I could do to prevent the fall of my kingdom, nor all the death that ensued. To think that a princess could not protect her people!" "Oh man," Sonic ceases his attack, not being able to help the pity in his expression. Percival, however, does not want it. "But," she continues with renewed vigor, Sonic reacting fast to the blade aimed for his chest, "King Arthur was there. He saw my potential as a fighter and took me in. I swore an oath to protect this kingdom, with my life if necessary, in order to make up for my precious failure." "Quite a story," Sonic concludes. "Guess you didn't think you'd have to defeat the guy that took you in to protect this place, huh?" "No," Percival agrees. "That came as quite a shock." "You prefer being a knight over a princess?" Sonic asks. "Yes, without a doubt." Percival brings out her flames, and they lick at the blade of her weapon. "I do understand your plight, somewhat. I suppose you and I are similar in that I found royalty rather boring. I much prefer the rush that accompanies action." With a confident smile, Percival spins, jabbing the butt of her sword into Sonic's arm. The jolt causes him to drop Caliburn, which clatters on the ground and slides until it hits the wall. Sonic, now distracted, has his feet swiped out from under him. The next thing he knows, Percival is standing over him, her sword pressed lightly into the middle of his chest. She smirks at him, triumphant. "Heh." Sonic holds his hands in defeat, pleased to have lost to such a skilled swordsman. Well played. I'll get you next time, though. With that, Percival extends a hand, helping him to his feet. Thanks, and hey, Percy. Sonic brushes off his trousers and collects his sword from the floor. Sorry about all that at dinner yesterday. Being a knight is obviously real important to you, and I can respect your reasons for becoming one. Protecting people, see, that's important to me too, so I'm sorry for, saying that you ain't your own people. That's not true. Sonic apologizes, sheepishly. You dismissed our loyalty yesterday, she recalls. Is there a reason for that? Sonic frowns, thinking about his answer. Well, I guess I just don't want you guys living your lives for me. You should be living your life for you. And I guess it just frustrates me seeing you guys making decisions based on whether or not I approve. Who gives a damn? Percival considers this for a short silence, and then nods. I see. That is very considerate of you, sire. Please understand that many of us are afraid of the consequences of disobeying, especially... She trails off, too much having been said. Well, there will be no consequences with me. Freedom's like my whole thing, doing things your own way. He decides not to ask for details on her last sentence. Clearly, if she'd wanted to continue, she would have. I will accompany you on your journey, Percival says. You must do what I could not. Protect your homeland. Gawain and Lancelot walk through the hall of the guards' chambers on their way to spar. They had just eaten lunch and were deep in conversation about last night's events. Must we truly accompany our king on a largely selfish journey? What are we to gain from it? Gawain complains. Sir Gawain, Lancelot warns, I will not allow you to speak ill of his majesty. Yes, but surely, my friend, you can see the issue. There is no issue. The king's orders are final and absolute. His decisions are ours also. Lancelot counters. Yes, Gawain replies. I once thought that, until our previous king, who was oh so kind, became cold-hearted and evil. Perhaps it is right to question his majesty's motives on occasion. Are you determined to be charged with treason? Lancelot spits. Why does it matter? Disobedience is punished, Gawain. You know this. Gawain glances at the scar winding its way across Lancelot's eye. And yet you turned on the previous king, Gawain says. We turned on the previous king because he was corrupt and evil, Lancelot argues. It was unfortunate that it took us as long as it did to realize. And yet he was once kind and benevolent. He saved up many of us from great sieges and took us under his wing. This new king, he is kind as well. How can we be sure he would not turn out the same? This new king does not bear the immortal scabbard, Lancelot explains. The item was locked away, so there is no reason for concern. Besides, his heart is good and true. If you truly believe that, Sir Lancelot, then why are you so afraid of him? Gawain presses. We will speak of this no further, Lancelot snaps. Gawain drops the matter with a sigh, but little do either of them know that Sonic would be so incredibly proud of them for questioning authority. When Gawain and Lancelot reach the training area, they are surprised to find Sonic and Percival locked in a heated sparring match. They pause their fight when they spot the pair standing by the door. Sonic waves at them enthusiastically. Both knights drop to one knee before him. Your Majesty, Lancelot mutters. Hey fellas, care to fight? Sonic grins. Sonic ends up trying to fight all three of his knights at once. It feels like a bonding moment, but he's not so sure how to feel about that. But he can't stop the gleeful laughter that escapes him from the thrill of the challenge, even as he's knocked to his feet once more. The bright smile stays plastered to his face. The four of them remain there until the evening, practicing their skills and enjoying themselves, until they are informed that dinner approaches. Phew, that was fun! Sonic wipes the sweat from his brow. His knights dip their heads in agreement. Percival passes a jug of water to Lancelot. Sonic finds himself staring as he gulps it down. He lowers the jug and notices the king watching him, and so offers him the jug as well. I'm good, Sonic refuses, feeling flustered. Actually, Your Majesty, Lancelot speaks. Huh? Regarding yesterday, I feel that both sides of this minor disagreement have been selfish, dare I say. Lancelot's voice trails off in a way that is so unbefitting for a collected knight like him that Sonic thinks it's uncanny. Seeing someone wearing Shadow's face shy away like that, flinching, daring for some kind of punishment for daring to imply his king is selfish, it doesn't come. Nah, you're right, Sonic replies. Lancelot blinks, then finds the courage to continue. While it is still my opinion that you should remain here, sire, and fulfill the rule given to you by the sacred caliber. Sonic interrupts him. Would you miss me too much if I left? I am brilliant, I know. Lancelot's face explodes into a deep blush, and Sonic has to stop himself from gawking. Shadow would rather die than be seen like that, he knows. To continue, sire. Lancelot clears his throat. Gawain and I have decided to accompany you on your journey to seek the spell book. Have we? Gawain says, clearly not up to speed about this. Great! Sonic beams. I mean, still would have been faster on my own without all this faff, but hey, like I said, we can make a road trip out of it. Shall we leave tomorrow morn, then? Percival asks. I will ask Lady Nimue to prepare the horse, Lancelot says. Well, that was the end of chapter 4. Rubbing the sleep from his eyes, he stands up from his bed with a creak, padding over to pry open the wardrobe. He watches the people strolling in the morning sun on the grass outside. The birds. Oh my god. Good morning, Your Majesty. It is Nimue and Galahad, she calls, muffled by the door. I should have mumbled that. That would have been funny. Oh. There's a small moment of pause. There's a small moment of pause before leading to what Sonic assumed were the bedrooms. At the end of the corridor. What the fudge? At the end of the corridor, a couple door. Bro, what the fudge? She leaps, twirls, and bro, my freaking ankle, bro. How long have you been standing there? Long enough to know that you've got some serious skill, Sonic replies. Not that I didn't know that. We fought before, but I like a challenge. Thank you. Not bad. He stretches out his weapon once more. Sorry, burp. Too much kiwi. His eyes shining with adrenaline, he wipes at his nose confidently with his free hand in that funny thing he does under his nose. Bro, my nose.